So if your employee comes up to you and says, hey, I have something wrong with me, or there's something wrong with my spouse, or there's something wrong with my parent, or something wrong with my child that's under the age of 18, or even a child that has a mental disability over the age of 18, or even if it's a covered service member, here's what you need to do. When that employee brings it to your attention is you need to go and pull some notice forms and documentation so you can start having this discussion and have an educated discussion, of course. So the website that I'm going to provide to you is going to be in the description down below. So feel free and utilize that so you can find it. But basically, this includes an FMLA poster, eligibility notice, you'll need that. Rights and responsibilities notice, you'll need that. Designation notice, you'll need that too. And of course, you have these certification forms. This is what you're going to have to actually give your employees so they can take it to their healthcare provider, their spouse's healthcare provider, their parents' healthcare provider, children, or any of their kids' healthcare provider, so they can fill out that documentation so you understand exactly what type of leave is needed. So the first thing you need to do is determine if this person's actually eligible for leave. So Form WH-381, this is a wage and hour Department of Labor document that you need to actually complete. It's always funny when you read certain verbiage, because if you look here, it says, while use of this form is optional, it must be provided within 5 business days of the employee notifying the employer of a need for FMLA leave. So in other words, when they tell you that they need to take leave, you need to spend that time reviewing their employee file to see if they have met the eligibility requirements. So there are a couple of things, they have to, and it gives you the eligibility requirements at the top of the form. They have to work at least 12 months, meet the hours of service requirement, which is 1,250 hours within a 12-month period of time, and also work at a site that has at least 50 or more employees within a 75-mile radius. Your job is to fill out this form, just basically indicating today's date from your employer's name and the employee's name. And on this date, you learn that the person needs leave beginning on this date for the reasons that they brought to your attention. So you basically need to come in here and use this as an option to say, okay, well, these are the things you've made me aware of, and this is what you're going to have as an option for leave. As you go down, it's the notice of eligibility saying, look, you're eligible for FMLA leave or you're not eligible for FMLA leave. So this is letting the person know the reasons why they are eligible or the reasons they're not eligible for leave. So you just give this to them initially with the certification of health provider, which we'll show that here in a second. But this one specifically is going to give you the information that you need to give to the employee to help them understand exactly what they need to do and if they're eligible for leave in the first place. So that's step one. Now, step two of this process requires that you give them the appropriate certification of healthcare provider. If it's for the employee's serious health condition, it's Form WH-380E. If it's the family member's serious health condition, that means a parent, father or mother, Form WH-380F. And if it's help for healthcare providers, this also is a flyer for them as well. If it's a qualifying exigency, that's Form WH-384, military caregiver, and of course, military caregiver leave of a veteran, WH-385, VIAs and Victor. So these forms are actually something that you need to go and grab on a recurring basis. Now, it's interesting because as of the date of today's filming, today's June 28th, and literally this form, if you look at the very top of it, says it expires in 2 days from now. So if you can imagine, sometimes these forms are expired, but you still want to continue using them. I would not just sit there and not use them, but come to the website to get the latest form. If they have not updated it, that's on the government, not you. So what you'll need to do is print the certification of healthcare provider. This is so you can give this to your employee and actually have them take that to their healthcare provider. And what that does is it lets the healthcare provider actually document the reasons for leave, how much leave is needed, the frequency of leave that's needed, and documenting all of it for you so you can assess it and evaluate it. But you have to fill out just a couple of pieces. Section 1 is for you to fill out. Now, I would always fill out Section 1 and I would always attach a job description. If you don't have a job description that has physical requirements, you need to start making them. The reason why you want to make them is because if an accommodation request comes through and you can't accommodate it, you're going to have a really tough time trying to validate if it's undue hardship, especially if you don't have some type of physical requirements in writing on your job descriptions. So attach a job description, it's necessary, but also the essential job functions. If the person has to use a hammer, that means they have to squeeze a hammer and they're going to have to use their arm and their hands. And physical means if they're having to lift things, they're going to have to use their legs, their back, their arms. Being descriptive with this is the best thing you can do, and it's a good practice. And they have great templates for it. Also, the healthcare provider, this is where they actually fill out those sections. Now, all I would ever fill out on this is the employee's name, and that's all I would do. The rest is up to the healthcare provider, and they would provide this back to me. Now, once that document has been filled out by the employee, my job is then to take that documentation, and with this form for WH-382, this one specifically is actually for me to tell them if they are approved for leave of absence. So I said that they're eligible or not eligible on form 381. 382 is actually me designating the leave as approved or not. And you could see right here in this section, let me draw some emphasis on it for you. You can see it says that it's either approved or not approved. And you have to provide the reasoning and the logic here. And if you need additional information, you can, of course, say, look, it's insufficient documentation. I need something else. I need you to complete something else for me. There's a multitude of things you can do to, of course, get more answers. But again, this is letting the employee know that they are covered for leave or if they're not covered for leave. And then, of course, if it's approved, these are some things that you need to fill out. And again, all these forms need to be given back to the employee so they have some type of record. So that's what you need to do to start a leave of absence. And once it's approved, I would say you need to make a calendar that has a running, recurring checkup with the employee. It's not to annoy them. It's not to be, disrespectful on their leave time, but I think it's more of being considerate for them. I think checking with your employee and making sure they're okay, seeing if anything's changed, is there anything that you need to do that shows that you're making a valiant effort to take care of this employee and ensure that they're not put in a bad position where they're worried about their employment. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is state-specific leave. So you may sit here and say, well, we're not required to offer this employee leave, but that's not the case in some states. Some states actually require you to provide leave as almost as an accommodation. So here in the state of Louisiana, there's pregnancy rights for employees. This document doesn't necessarily say you have to give them leave, but it also, I've highlighted it here, deny leave to her for a reasonable amount of time. If you employ more than 25 employees in a 20 or more calendar weeks in a current or preceding calendar year, you have to comply with this rule. And in other words, it's saying you need to have accommodations for this person. Again, it's a very explicit document and it's very clear. So it doesn't always have to fall under the legal standpoint of federal. Sometimes you have state-specific laws that say you have to follow this rule. So don't forget to always check your state law. If you deny a person for leave, look into your state law, look for things like pregnancy, look for things of disability accommodations in your state. Make sure you don't miss anything because it's very easy to miss that. So I hope these tips and tricks have helped you with FMLA leave. I wish you the best of luck. And again, please like and subscribe to Workforce 2080. I'd love for you guys to follow me. I look forward to providing more valuable content to you in the future. Y'all take care.